Hey everyone, and welcome to the Yes Perfect podcast, where we talk about anything and everything except for politics, because nobody wants to hear that. I'm Will. I guess I'm the host for the first time in ever. So I'll pass it on. Everyone can say hi. Whoever wants to start.
Hi, I'm Chris from ChrisCrossMedia. You can see a lot of my work on Cinemassacre, and it's nice being here with you guys. Where the heck is Alex?
I don't know.
None of any of us know.
I'm Joey from BlueJ Gaming, one of the original four. If we could say that. Yeah.
Hey, I be Vinnie. I am some random dumbass, and Will, yes, you're hosting. Yes, Will, you're finally hosting. Welcome to the family.
Welcome to the club.
You're stuck for life.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Matt from MixMatt on YouTube.
Yeah, so definitely different than last week. Last week, I know we were kind of on a couple of topics, but this is hits a little close to home for me. So if you're comic book nerds like us, and if you're more like me and you're more DC over Marvel, we finally got announced that the Snyder cut of Justice League is going to be on HBO Max in 2021. Any opinions? Any reactions? Anyone?
Well, I definitely like Marvel better than DC. No offense.
None taken.
But no, I think this is cool. I think it really cements the idea that if you really want something and you're willing to pay for it, studios will listen. I think there's been a couple examples in the last couple of years of this happening. I think the most interesting thing is that for the longest time, release the Snyder Cut was almost like a punchline. It was not something to be taken seriously, and the fact that it actually is happening, I think that is pretty cool. Like, that in itself is really cool. I've only seen clips of the Joss Whedon finished Justice League, and I thought it was kind of laughable. But this, I am actually interested in seeing, and I actually want to get HBO Max. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
HBO Max and check it out. To see it in the way that it was intended. And what's, I think, the most interesting is that they're putting an additional $20 million to finish his cut of it. So it's not just an assembly of random unfinished clips. It's going to be what he actually intended.
Also with the original cast, the original producers and stuff too. I read that as well. He's trying to call everyone who originally worked on it before he left, with obviously the family issue that he did have. Joey, you?
So, I know there were rumors going around that we were going to hear about it this week, and I was like, I guess I'll believe it when I see it. I didn't actually think it was going to happen. I was like, I think it was probably going to come to HBO Max at some point. I didn't realize they were going to just be like, yep, we are fully funding it. We're going to finish this damn thing. And also, supposedly, it's going to be like either a 4-hour movie or a 6-episode series, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's like, okay, that'll be interesting. I just wonder what they're going to go with.
I like the idea of them breaking it up into chapters, because I feel like you can do more. Like with a movie, you have an arc, like an overarching thing, where it could feel stale if there's not these little breaks. And with the episodes, you can actually have little mini arcs that have that combine within the major overarching story. I mean, imagine if Infinity War and Endgame was one film. It would be you after it, you'd just feel exhausted. I think the break in the middle was really needed, and I feel like if they do these things episodic, I think it would help the story. And also, if they release it one a week, I think it's going to build up a lot of hype, a lot of talk, and people will be talking about it instead of just, everyone sees it one weekend, that 4-hour film. They can break it up just like Mandalorian, and people are talking about it for 2-3 months. I think that's a smart marketing play, and I hope they go that route.
I'm actually the opposite. I would much rather I could see the episodic stuff and do it like little by little.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, for me, because I've seen Justice League twice now, and the first time, I definitely could see where Joss Whedon put his hand in the pot and where Zack Snyder put his hand in the pot. I can see them kind of like meshing, but not really meshing very well. For me, I just want to see it straight away without anything. I'm fine with the episodic thing. Like, I would like for 1 week for them to release it straight up, and then the next week do like the first 45 minutes. I do kind of like a behind the scenes, like the idea of the story and like how you're saying the episodes, and just bring it up that way. But that first time, I just want to see it all the way through. I don't want to see like a fourth of the movie in a, like once a month or once a week for 4 weeks. I don't like. For me, it just feels weird to think that you're watching a movie that had a lot of hype to it originally, and then now obviously because it didn't basically hit the box office the way it should have, now you're gonna break it up into X amount of parts. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be a movie anymore. It's gonna be more of a series, and I don't know if like the original cut will be more programmable as a series compared to a movie. That's something I'm worried about. If it's made to be a movie, I think you should keep it as a movie. But if you want to break it up, you have to like say that like now. Don't
But
do.
it's not going to be a movie, though, when you think about it. Because if he were to release that in theaters, it would most likely be half the runtime. But now he has the option to put all of his ideas on the table. So it's rumored it's going to be about 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be, when you look at the structure of film, the 3-act structure, there's no way that, I mean, you can, but it's just going to be so overbloated that I personally wouldn't mind if it were episodic. I would sit there for 4 hours, but I feel like if you look at a movie like The Irishman, they got a lot of praise, but it was also criticized for being too long and feeling so overly stuffed. A movie that came out by Quentin Tarantino, The Hateful Eight, was a very long movie. I saw it as a film, and it felt like it went on forever. And then when they released it on Netflix recently, they broke it up into episodes, and people were saying, "Wow, this is so much more digestible. It feels like acts, and it's easier to get through." I don't know. I feel like I'd be okay either way. I know it was designed originally as a film, but it's not going to be coming out like a theatrical film. It's not going to be a 2.5-hour film. It's going to be 4 hours. So if they were to break it up into chapters, I'd be okay with it.
Matt, what do you think about it?
I can care less, to be honest. I haven't seen the original one, the original cut. I might check this one out just to see kind of how it goes. I'm just more interested to see what this opens for the future with other directors' cuts. One that comes to mind is the supposed J.J. Abrams cut of The Rise of Skywalker. So maybe one day we'll get that if, this does good. I mean, obviously, it probably will do really good. But yeah, I'm just more interested to see how the future is going to be with these director's cuts.
Yeah, I think if this does really well, Disney's gonna be like, "Yep, nope, we're doing it. Like, we have all this extra footage for Star Wars. Let's just do it." I mean, you're gonna get more subscribers, so I mean, why not?
And here's the thing with Star Wars, as an example, that's not something new to the series. They've released special editions for all the chapters. They've always changed and have been updated since the theatrical releases. Even the prequels have changed since they were put in theaters. When they went on DVD and Blu-ray, there are changes every single time. So for Disney to do a special cut or a special edition version of the sequel trilogy, it's something that has already been done, and I think it would work, and it would be exciting to see.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm just worried, like back to the actual Justice League Snyder cut. I'm just worried that if it does become chapters, that when he does chapters, it'll be like it is chapters. I'm worried that he's going to take a movie and make it chapters, not take a movie that could be chapters and make it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about. The chapters not feeling like it's like the 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I'm worried about. I don't want, because DC has a running history of taking something that's nice and simple and easy, and then just throwing like gasoline into the fire, and all of a sudden it's a roaring poop storm, literally. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
I don't know. I think since this is gonna be the cut that was supposed to come out in the films or in the movies, I think it's gonna be a lot better than the Justice League we got. And even if they do release it episodically, it's still gonna be good. It's the same story. It's just gonna be cut up. Like, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I'm just happy we're getting it, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
when you
yeah.
look at Mandalorian, right? I mean, that feels so cinematic to me, and I think a lot of people can argue that feels more cinematic and more Star Wars than The Rise of Skywalker or Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And again, I use that as a format to compare, where had they released that all in one weekend, we would have binged it. We would have talked about it for maybe a week, and then the next thing would have came out. But because they were releasing it over the course of 2 months, every Friday, it was an event, and I feel like they're going to be looking to that as an example of another IP that was very successful, and they're going to try to emulate that. And for something that's so hyped on the internet, I mean, they discovered a parallel universe yesterday, and people were talking about the Snyder Cut instead on Twitter. Nothing more. They possibly discovered a parallel mirrored universe.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Did you not hear about that?
No. All I heard
Because you're
about was
talking
the
about
Snyder Cut.
Yeah. So I would say you want to keep the hype going. You just extend it, and you can break it up, and people are going to continue talking about it every Friday. I mean, I wasn't planning to get HBO Max, and now I'm like, maybe I'll check this out.
And the thing is, like, I'm just glad they're putting the time to finish the damn movie. Like, they're putting the time and money into it. Like, I know you said 20 million? I heard now
20 million.
30 million. I just read 30 million. So it sounds like the number
Maybe
is very
10.
I think it's going to be higher. I think they're going to be like, you know what? Let's put a little bit more money into this. Because
here's the thing. I mean, the extra 10 million is probably for marketing, but they've already lost. This is why it's so interesting to me. They've already lost a lot of money
On the movie itself,
millions
yeah.
of dollars on the movie itself, because the production was so overbloated. They filmed essentially 2 movies. The marketing was crazy, and it didn't do very well in the box office because of bad word of mouth. So the fact that they're even willing to put money into this in the first place is a gamble. I'm going to guess they want to keep that number down, but because they're keeping, I'm assuming, like 80% of the proceeds because it's on their own streaming platform, they can take more of a gamble. And people that weren't necessarily going to get HBO Max are now going to, myself included. And I know there's a lot of people that are in the same boat. So they're saying maybe we will add another 10 or 20 million to the budget. I mean, it's not unheard of.
So I gotta say one thing is, if this does well, like, do you think they'll make another Superman? Do you think they'll be like, fuck,
Please,
get
no.
Ben Affleck back. Let's do another fucking Batman with him.
No.
Like, do you think
No,
they'd go
please
back and be
no.
like, okay, you know what? These characters are actually really good. We just made a shitty movie. We made a shitty decision.
I think that's probably what they're going to go with. I mean, they never said that they were done making the Superman movies.
No.
The only thing that was confirmed done was Ben Affleck leaving.
Yep.
But who knows? I mean, maybe this sparks something up and they continue with his Batman in a different way. And then the Robert Pattinson one is just a separate timeline, separate thing. Who knows? This movie could revitalize the DC expanded universe. It could change a lot of things, because this was kind of like the nail in the coffin. This was their Avengers. This is what it was building up to this, and building up after like what two movies.
Yeah, and it flopped hard.
And it flopped, and they're like, okay, we got to push the brakes on this. And if this does well, then it's like, okay, maybe there's something there. Who knows?
Also, so supposedly, in November when there was like that huge like day where everyone was just tweeting about the Snyder Cut. Supposedly that day was the day that made Warner Brothers go, okay, we're gonna look into this to actually see if we should do it.
When was that?
It was in November, I think.
So okay, I read that.
But the deal was signed Monday.
I heard a year ago to the day of the announcement. So last year, May, WB had a private screening with an assembly cut that Zack Snyder had. So it was exactly a year ago.
I
And
heard.
that's when they decided to pursue it.
Okay. I heard November, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. There's so many things going around, but that's the one I've heard consistently. I'm gonna look up the tweet to see when it was released. Because I remember that whole day where Jason Momoa, Ben Affleck, who plays Wonder Woman again? They were all they were all tweeting about it.
Right, I remember that.
And supposedly that was a big day to like show Warner Brothers that people wanted it.
It's possible that it was already in production or that the deal was already made, and then they were asked to just kind of drum up conversation on social media to see if they're still talking about it.
Yeah, November 17th.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the whole tweet thing went out. So supposedly that's the day where it was like, okay, if you really want this movie, tweet about it right now. Like, show that you want it. And I guess that was kind of the nail to be like, okay, yep, we're going to do it. So, but yeah, supposedly the contracts were signed Sunday or Monday. And they announced it Wednesday. So, it's crazy how fast they're just like, yep, it's happening. It's going to come out next year. So, I'm like, hey, maybe you should push back HBO Max to next year. Have it like the launch title. But I don't know, I think they have a strong launch of all these movies that they're going to have on their platform. So, it'll just be very interesting to see how it does. Because it comes out next week? I think it comes out next week.
Yeah, it comes out. Yeah, isn't it the 27th? 28th?
I think it's the 27th.
I think it is the 27th too. Yeah, 27th.
It'll be interesting to see how many people sign up and like how it does, what people think of the service. I wonder if it'll crash like Disney Plus did. Yeah, 27th. So I guess we'll find out about that.
I'm actually just looking at their extended universe, which is their live action, and there's a lot of stuff happening in the next 3 years. So one thing that DC did that Marvel didn't was they put their Justice League was their 5th movie. Like they went Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League. That was their 5th movie. Not like anything.
Suicide Squad came out after, didn't it?
Suicide Squad 2016.
Never mind.
Yeah. But it's really interesting that their 5th movie was Justice League.
Yeah.
I understand 2017 was definitely a year of superheroes, or technically it was the off year of superheroes, because Endgame was 16 and Infinity War was 18? Other way around, sorry. Infinity War was 16, Endgame was 18.
Yeah. You know what's ironic, though? When you look at Marvel, Avengers was the 6th film.
But Iron Man was 3 of them, so...
2 of them.
Yeah, it was 2 of them, right.
But I guess they just felt more spaced out. And I think like people look at the big team up was BVS. You know, that almost felt like a league in its own, and it was maybe too soon.
It was definitely too soon. It was how my main thing that I had a big problem with was I understand DC wanting to be more adult and higher and like teenager oriented, like more, like I said, more adult and teen oriented compared to Marvel, which kind of is okay for kids to watch, while DC is kind of, for me, borderline. Like it depends on something. A lot of the animated stuff, a lot of the new animated stuff is definitely for like young adults. But it's just really interesting to me to watch that they had Man of Steel, and then Batman vs Superman. There was no original Batman. Suicide Squad that came out after that, and then Wonder Woman, that was her first one, and then Justice League was the big team up, and then went Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, the new one. It's just really interesting that they didn't. That was my main problem. Was Batman didn't have a building block.
Yeah,
he just didn't have a building block. I'm not saying that was the wrong choice. Like I enjoyed Ben Affleck as Batman because while watching the movie, I knew what comics they pulled from. like instantly. Like there's one scene, I'm not going to ruin the movie in case anyone hasn't seen it, but there's one scene where you know exactly how many Robins he's in, how old he is, like what's happening already. So you already know that, which is fine for me. I would have just liked a little bit more of a building block, not so much just drop Batman as a person. If that makes sense.
But why did we have to see the whole parents dying again? It was like,
oh, you don't understand. There's a running joke. I think I've seen. I don't remember if it was Vinnie or I can't remember who I was talking to forever ago, and I was seeing like all the times we've physically seen on any animated or live action how many times Bruce's parents has died. And I think I've seen. I want to say it was. I think I've seen 22 out of 27.
Oh my god!
I feel like you were telling me that.
Because a lot of them were actually in video games that I've either played or watched someone play, so I count that. But there's some that were like Japanese cartoon only in Japan that took the style of America and got DC and Warner Brothers things. They made their own. Like I obviously couldn't see that. But yeah, like it's almost like a running joke. But then we can even just, for me, I'm gonna completely get off topic real fast. Joker, like I understand that movie was a lot bigger than like DC. But if let's say you get rid of Joker as a title, you think of something else. You don't say Bruce Wayne, you don't say Gotham City, and you get rid of all the DC ties. Is the movie really that good?
Yes.
oh yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not. I mean, I could see how it's good, but do you think it would have had the pull that it had if it didn't have anything DC or anything related to it? If it had some whatever title with no any comic book orientation to it,
no,
would it have that big of a pull?
If they
No,
marketed it
then
right,
just as-
maybe.
I think it would have just been one of those movies that went to the Academy Awards and just one of those ones it's been nominated and didn't get anything. It just been it would have been a good movie, but I just didn't like the fact that they made all these films and then made that film and then they don't connect. It's very, again, what I'm saying, DC throws gas in the fire. If you're gonna make films and if you're gonna cut it, then cut it. Like after Justice League, they should have cut that and made Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey a whole different universe. Don't add them into this universe, and then they made Joker and made that in a whole separate one, and now they're gonna have to either combine them or make 3 different ones or 2 different ones. So it's very confusing to me of why they make these decisions.
Well, the Robert Pattinson Batman movies going to be taking place in a whole different universe because they realize. No, it's not.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying it's supposed to be a flash forward.
No.
Okay, so
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading. That's really what I read.
Dude.
There was many different changes in the script at many different points, and it was supposed to be connected to the Flash line and the DCEU. But then when Matt Reeves took over and Robert Pattinson was casted, they changed it completely, and it's part of now the DC Dark Universe, which is dark takes on the DC movies that are separate completely from the main storyline, and the Joker falls in line with that. But the Joker and this Batman are not connected whatsoever.
They just want to go in a different direction because they realize, hey, copying Marvel didn't do shit for us. Maybe we should be original. And I feel like Shazam was kind of the start of that. They do talk about other heroes, but they never be like, oh yeah, it's Henry Cavill's Superman. They allude to it, but they don't ever... They're not in your face about it. Hey, it's all connected. They're just it might be connected. And then you see it with Joker. Not connected at all. The new Batman, it's not going to be connected. The Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, it kinda is, but it's also not. They're trying to just cut the ties because it didn't work for them. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, after the Snyder Cut comes out, if they try and connect everything back together again.
That's the thing, is that with Birds of Prey and Aquaman and Shazam, if this Justice League thing does well, they didn't sever the ties completely. They could easily bring it all back together. But if it does bad, they've already made the steps to separate them and make them their own things, if they so choose.
They could just do a Flashpoint movie.
God,
if they
you
need
mean
to.
the Flash movie that has how many directors, how many writers, how many directors? I felt like it got announced. I felt like in 2018, I was like, okay, it's a Flashpoint movie. It's either Flashpoint or we get Reverse Flash and we get the idea of Flashpoint. Like those are the only three options. And then now I'm like looking and I'm looking at like ahead to all these movies. Like you get the new Suicide Squad, you get Wonder Woman 1984, Batman, Black Adam, and then you get Flash. But after Flash is Shazam 2 and Aquaman 2. And DC is Flash is always the catalyst of any time they want to redo comics or redo movies. Which I think is why I'm looking at this. I don't think the Batman is not part of the original universe. Because I think it's going to be in a separate universe that Flash points to, if that makes sense.
They could go that route, but they're designing it to be its own thing.
Yeah, they're just trying to distance themselves right now. They're like, listen, we rushed everything. We're gonna not rush it this time. So,
Yeah, but then I'm looking at this. Okay, so now that's like the only movie that's in its own separate sub-universe. Everything else is still stuck to the original. Like, Black Adam is still connected to Shazam. Shazam is still part of the original. Aquaman is obviously part of the original. Wonder Woman's part of the original. So it's the Flash. So like the only movie is literally the Batman that is only gonna be like a sub project.
Well, the only thing now that it's possible they're going to do other things in the future.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff that don't even have like dates. I can go off on like all the stuff that they should be doing, but they won't. But instead of, I know I'm a big DC hothead, so we're gonna move on to the kitty stuff. So Disney Plus is. I know you guys have some hot opinions on this. Extremely hot opinions. The Muppets Now is premiering on July 31st on Disney Plus. Any opinions on that?
Go ahead, Joey.
So,
I'm like what you are with DC. I am with the Muppets.
And that's why I'm taking a huge step back. Like, I haven't watched the Muppets in probably like 8 years. You guys can yell at me for that. Whatever. The last one I remember is the Jason Segel one. So after that, it's probably the last one I actually watched.
there hasn't been much after that.
Yeah, and that was fantastic. Go ahead, Joy. Talk about Muppets Now, and then I'll chime in. And
so
everyone else
basically, it is a improv Muppet show, and the premise supposedly is Scooter is trying to get all the Muppets back together for their new streaming show. That's the premise, and it's going to be improv. We've talked about this on the podcast before. That the dude who does Kermit right now
Matt
does
Vogel
not seem to do well with improv.
Mhm.
So I am worried, but I
Right.
guess we'll see in 2 months if he does a good job, because we still haven't heard him long term with a Kermit voice.
My money is on no.
I'm reading. Here's the thing. I don't think we should expect too much from this show, sadly, because on Wikipedia it said the production of the show started June of last year, and it lasted only 6 days. So
Shit.
these
Oh,
are
God.
probably very quick episodes. I know that there was a not Jason Segel, Josh Gad show that has leaked a little bit. It was supposed to be a scripted sitcom show for the Muppets for Disney Plus that got canceled,
Yeah.
sadly, for whatever reason. And a show that is really anchored by Kermit the Frog. The fact that the actor doing Kermit the Frog doesn't sound or really act like Kermit the Frog, it's going to be very jarring. And I don't know what to really expect from this. There's not much known. And if that's the plot, Scooter running around trying to get people ready for a streaming show, it seems so
Half-assed.
and also recycled of just a repeated Muppet plot that we've seen over and over again. Jason Segel did that, but it was a duration of time that passed between the one Muppet movie and then that one, which I think the last one before that was Lost in Space or Muppets in Space.
Was that the last
So, like,
one before it?
Yes, I mean the last theatrical one. There was like ABC specials, like The Wizard of Oz and a couple other ones, but it made sense, right? And it was done with care and love and a lot of appreciation for the history of the Muppets. And I'm really worried. I really want more for these characters because they are iconic. They've spanned generations, and I feel like they're just used for social media posts now.
My hope with this is because there's this show and there's supposedly another Muppet show coming.
No,
Or-
I mean the other
No?
show was canceled. I thought, right? That's the only thing that's
I thought
also in
was maybe shit. I don't know anymore. I feel like they announced so many Muppet projects, and then we've just heard, canceled, and it's like, Muppets Now. But it's
Mhm.
like, what if this is like a prelude to that? So it's like, Scooter's rounding them up to do their streaming show, and then maybe at the end they'll be like, Muppets, whatever the hell it's going to be called, coming next year. It's just an ad for the next show.
And I've said this before. I would love for Peter Linz to do the voice of Kermit. I know he is not as experienced as Matt Vogel. Matt Vogel has been part of the Jim Henson Company for a very long time, doing Big Bird on Sesame Street, and he did Constantine in Muppets Most Wanted. But his Kermit just doesn't fly for me and for a lot of people. It's interesting whenever they post Muppet videos, the comments are just talking about how weird Kermit sounds.
Hashtag not my Kermit.
Not my Kermit. Yeah. Release the Kermit, right? We should start a new hashtag. Peter
One of those
Lynn
two.
does Ernie on Sesame Street. And I think I mentioned this before in the podcast that Ernie was voiced by Jim Henson. And Jim Henson also did Kermit. And they sound very similar. And Peter does an amazing Ernie. He started in 2017. And I think that he can carry over that warmth and that, what Kermit embodies. I feel like this actor can do. I would love for him to be back, for Steve Whitmire to be back, but apparently there's a lot of bad blood between him and a couple of people behind the scenes, so I don't think that's a reality. I don't know. We'll see. I hope that the show's fun. I hope it's a pleasant surprise.
Anyone else? Because I'm just reading that it's 6 episodes and they're 10 minutes each, so an hour.
Wait, it really says 10 minutes each?
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
it's
God
10 minutes, 6 episodes.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's like they recorded this in an afternoon. They're just like, okay.
It's literally like us when we used to make our YouTube stuff. It was just all in one day. We just filmed it all at once.
Yeah,
If it filmed for 6 days, they filmed each episode probably.
We probably film 2 episodes a day. It says, 3 days?
6 days.
Approximately 6 days, he's filming an episode a day, yeah.
Oh, this is sad.
I was gonna chime in and say I'm just happy they're doing something with the Muppets. Now that I know the details of what they're doing with the Muppets, I'm not happy anymore. Just like, why? It's like a carrot on a stick. You're just dangling it in front of us and yanking it away. It's like, oh, you almost had it. You got to be quicker than that.
the commercial with the
old fucking what's it called commercial? I don't even remember what company.
Geico? Geico?
One of those two.
Yeah, Geico with the old fisherman. Yeah.
Could have been freaking JG Wentworth for all I care. They're not insurance. I don't fucking care. They need to do Muppets stuff more than an hour's worth of content.
This literally shows us, though, they don't know what the hell they're doing with the Muppets. They don't know. They have the property. They just don't know what to do with it.
I don't know why they don't just try to mend things with Frank Oz and bring him on board to at least be a creative voice, or Jason Segel and try to get him involved with the entire project and characters again. Because I thought he did a great job.
He did
I know
a
that
good job.
Frank Oz is obviously the voice of Fozzie and several other characters, and was right there in the mix with Jim Henson. And he directed a few, I think 2 or 3 Muppet movies. I think Muppets Take Manhattan was his first. I may be wrong on that, but Yeah, I think when Disney purchased the Muppets, they rejected a script that he did. I know some of the details are a little fuzzy, and it rubbed him the wrong way, and he just kind of stepped away
I
from the
can
entire thing.
I can make an analogy for this, but it's only really going to resonate with one person. Will, Disney buying the Muppets is a lot like WWE buying ECW. They did it. It feels like they did it just for the heck of it, and they took away everything that made it great.
Oh my god! If anyone is a
Like,
wrestling
it's the
fan,
extreme for ECW, and it's technically, in a way, even though they didn't really take it from him, like, it's the whole Bad Blood with Frank Oz for the Muppets. Just like, that's the great thing. They're kind of stiff arming away from it, from what I can tell, and it's not cool.
I
We're just
really,
kind of gonna keep it in a corner and let it die.
I feel like Disney really needs to somehow contact like the people at the Henson company, because what they had, the Happy Time Murders movie, that was horrible. I don't think anyone watched it.
I wanted to see it, never got around to it.
Never watched it.
No,
Yeah,
I wanted to, but I saw the trailer. I was intrigued, but I never got around to watching it.
Was that actually by the Henson Company?
Yeah, it was Jim Henson Company.
Wow.
It just, I mean,
Did they work on Dark Crystal? Was that
yeah,
they have a hand in it? Yeah, that did well.
but it's like,
And that's what I would love for the Muppets is like an episodic film.
yes,
It just explores the characters, and I think they're in the right direction with the ABC show. I liked it. I think it would be really cool because the Muppets they either act like they are real
like
characters, real people in our world, and they're just actors. And then there's times where they play characters, like the Muppet Caper, Treasure Island, Christmas Carol. And I think it'd be really cool to see the Muppets again playing characters in an existing story that's created, and they're just like actors in that, and it could be broken up into a series.
You know what's funny is I think that Muppet show would do a lot better today than it did when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Because look at the shows that are popular right now. The Office, Parks and Rec, and it is literally that formula with a Muppet show.
And it would work well on streaming as opposed to
That ABC Muppet
ABC.
show was so underrated.
Really was.
So good.
I'm surprised no one has like started talking about it on social media yet.
It was one of the very few shows on TV that I actively go out of my way to watch when it was on.
The thing is, it got good press and people were talking about it and watching it, and it did well. It was just these mom bloggers and people online that were saying the Muppets shouldn't be in these kinds of situations. And then that's why they took it down, because they didn't want to offend. I think they believed that the Muppets were marketed towards young kids, when the reality is the creation of these characters were for everybody, and they steered more towards adults. And I think they got really cold feet.
The way I see it is that they created the Muppets such a long time ago, and they realized that their audience grew up, so they're still trying to take it to the same audience. That's just the way I'm seeing it. So they obviously were starting to go a little bit more towards the adult side of the humor, which I personally appreciate. But I can kind of see where people would be a little upset, because there's something to get upset with over everything these days.
But that's the thing. The Muppets were always crossing that line of adult humor. I mean, you have Kermit the Frog talking about his sex life, and other things. And Jim Henson never said this is for kids. That's why they created Sesame Street. There was a differentiation between the two. And it was never vulgar, but it was never geared towards just a younger demographic. That wasn't the intention. And then I think Disney buying it just didn't realize, or the people behind it don't realize that. And they think it's for kids, but it should be for everybody. And it can delve into different topics without it feeling, I don't know. They should they're putting these weird barriers, and with that, it just feels dull and bland. And that's sadly what the Muppets are right now.
Yeah, they're just on Facebook video conference commercials.
They're just generic. It feels very generic, and it's very different than the reason why people like these characters is just based on memories they used to have of them. It's nothing that is currently happening, or more likely will happen with these characters, unless they bring somebody on to really revitalize them and make them behave in the manner that they were created.
The thing I don't get is like why they canceled the Josh Gad project and
I don't
like
know.
all these other projects. Like why cancel it? Like what was wrong with it? Was it a
don't
little
know.
too adult for them? Like I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like they don't want to take risks with the Muppets. They went, nah, the show was risky enough for us. It's like, guys, I think it's time to move on and just take the risk again. See if it works. It's a streaming service. If it doesn't work, move on.
Mm-hmm.
Make other content. But don't just leave these characters to rot in the backlot. Yeah, no, hopefully, I'm hoping the show's going to be good, but now knowing it's only 10-minute episodes, I have no faith for it.
Well, yep, my expectations are pretty shot too.
Yeah.
Like-
the 6 episodes is fine, but if there were 20-minute episodes, then I would be intrigued. But 10 minutes?
Like
These are like internet specials.
It's
when
probably
I
what
got
they're
when I
meant
got
to
the
be.
when we got the news a couple days ago that it was coming, I can tell you I was happy. Like
Mhm.
legitimately, I felt legitimately happy for the first time since finals started. And it sucks to have that pretty much just down a toilet in the matter of a 15-minute conversation, getting into the details and thinking about the track record of this kind of shit that happens. And it's sad.
And here's the other thing, and this is kind of picky, but there was an article that was being passed around today that this also adds to them really putting together something very quickly and not caring. The poster that they have for Muppets Now is the same promotional material that they've shot over a decade ago for the Muppets movie with Jason Segel.
What?
And they keep reusing the same clip art and the
Oh
same
my
shots
God,
of
it
the
is.
characters, and they just keep repositioning them. And it's the same stuff we've seen regurgitated over and over on promotional material for all these movies, all the ABC show, The Most Wanted, everything. And like they can't even get like the sizes right of the characters. It's just, if I can find that article, I can send it to you guys. It's really interesting, and it's kind of just sad that they can't even make new content.
Yeah, like they could have done a little photo shoot at the studio and just fucking got new poses, but nope, there it is. I just put it in the chat. Yeah, those are all the same.
Yep.
Oh my god. It looked like the poster they put out was new, but that looks just the old Muppets. Like the little press, like the image they put out. It looked like new shots, but just of Kermit?
No, that's not new either.
Is it not?
No.
It says the idea was for it to be shorts, if that makes sense. It was made to be
So
shorts.
like Forky asks a question.
But like those
But
were
without
so like
without the charm of it being Forky.
See, I felt like that Kermit render was new, but it's not. It's just
Nope.
an old picture. God. Like, yeah, that, Walter and... Well, what the fuck are their names? The old guys.
Statler and Waldorf.
Yup. Words. Fuck.
It's fine.
That's...
Hey man, just goes to show.
It's all old art.
Like when you're not thinking about the Muppets, it just happens, man.
God, that's irritating. I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice till you pointed it out.
Let me ask you this. I'm gonna put a link. Would you see this show? Click that link.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even need to click it.
So I just saw the Reddit link, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably see it, because Reddit has the top tier stuff.
Of course.
Frog and the Muppets of the Universe.
When in doubt,
The Frog and
Reddit.
the Muppets of the
Reddit's
universe.
got some good shit.
Oh,
That's,
you really
honestly, that sounds So much cooler.
Here's the article that was being passed around today, and it's I guess it's from Muppet fan site, and this goes into the stock photos of the Muppets that they've been using for over a decade now, and they just keep regurgitating the same flipping renders for everything.
Yep. Like without
the
even
most
clicking on the
embarrassing one is
article, one of the ones I can see is Pepe the King Prawn. It's used in the new promotional material. I can see it. It's the same picture.
It's the same animal too. It's always the same animal.
Yeah.
Yikes! This is yikes.
And as
Wow.
an example, Drew Struzan, he's a famous poster artist for theatrical films. He drew the Indiana Jones posters, the Star Wars posters. He did almost every film in the 80s. And he did hand-drawn posters for most of the Muppet movies, I believe even up until Muppets in Space. And Jim Henson, even though he wasn't alive for that film, but Jim Henson handpicked him, and he said that he makes his characters look alive in picture format. The characters, they come alive on film, but when they're pictures, they look very static. And Jim said that from that day on, the day he hired Drew, that he would be the one drawing them up in posters from now until the day he passes. And there was a reason behind that, because otherwise they just look static and fake. There's nothing real behind it. And I think this article goes into nice, great lengths to demonstrate that. If you ever look at the, you might have to cut this from the podcast, but
God, I'm just looking at the two photos of the exact same photo.
Yeah.
It's stunning how just I'm not trying to I'm not the biggest Muppets fan, but at the same time it's like I have to call their shit. It's the same photo. The amount of laziness is actually impressive.
It's like embarrassing.
It's like what do they do at Muppet Studios? Like what do they do?
Literally nothing.
So this is, as an example, Drew Struzan drawing the posters, and you can see, I didn't grab them all, but this is a decent example. The difference between what Disney's doing now, doing just really cheap photos, and then this. They make them actual movie posters.
Yeah.
This looks so much nicer.
They have life to them.
They treat them like it's an actual property, like it's something worth marketing. When I see something like that, I see Muppets Now, I'm like, oh, I've already seen that. Or it looks so cheap, it's like, why would I watch that if they don't even bother properly marketing this thing?
You know what's funny? The Muppets Now poster they put out, it's just a gradient in the background. The other one's just the generic curtain they always use.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
They put no effort into it.
And like when they used that for the Jason Segel movie, that was the first time we saw it. It was fine because that was the first time they did that. Okay. But then they just they're like, oh, this is what we're going to use from now on. And that's just the style they've used moving forward. And it's, there's no surprise. There's no, again, I feel like I know this comes down to the marketing of it, right? It's the product could be different than the marketing, but marketing is indicative of what they're trying to sell. And it seems like they're just trying to be very lazy with this.
Yeah. They're like, we did it in 6 days. Like, we just had someone throw this together in 15 minutes. It works. Mm-hmm. Like, even the Muppets Now logo looks lazy.
It's so lazy.
It literally just looks like word art.
Yeah.
It is.
It
and
looks like they made it in freaking
Microsoft Word, like 2008 over here.
I do graphic design, and if I was designing for a show like this, with legacy characters like this, I would be embarrassed to hand that in.
I'm surprised they don't use the Muppets M with like the Kermit like style to it.
Nah, man, that's too easy. You gotta make it more difficult.
Because I remember
It's
when
It's almost like they said they have to finish everything in 6 days.
The entire show has to be done in 6 days.
Yeah.
Editing and
Production,
everything.
post-production, editing, marketing. It's like you have a week to
Filming
do all this
all
work.
of this shit.
Yeah, wait, I realized if they were when they filmed this, did you say June of last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
Why'd they wait till now?
Because
What?
it probably
What's-
wasn't supposed to come out.
What's so intensive for it that they couldn't have released it on launch of Disney Plus? Why'd
I think
they
they're
have
just
to wait a whole
space things
year?
out.
I guess.
You know,
but dude,
but here's the thing, Joey. We were at D23 in August, right?
yeah,
And the actor was doing his Kermit on the stage for that. What show was it?
Frog
The Lizard.
Amphibia.
Yeah. Okay. And we're like, oh man, I can't wait till he finally gets into the groove of this character thing.
And they recorded it before that.
And this was recorded before that. So
Shit.
So your answer to hoping he gets into the groove of it is no.
Yep, no, that's dead.
Just a big fat no.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. There's a very slim chance, but maybe it'll be good.
There's like a 15 to 20% chance that one of those episodes will be decent.
God. But anyway,
Wow.
let's get away from this Kermit mess.
Or I start tearing my fucking hair out, please.
Chuck E. Cheese! Sorry, had to be my
Yes.
9-year-old.
Let us talk about the Chuck E. Cheese thing that's going on.
The Chuck E. Cheese.
Quick, anyone know Chuck E. Cheese's full name?
Charles Entertainment Cheese.
There you go. There you go. Now you know.
Just
So-
in case he didn't.
Who wants to take this 10 out of 10 Chuck E. Cheese news? Because, you know, we totally went there as kids, 100%.
Absolutely.
Go, Vinny.
All right, then. All right, I guess I'm being chucked under the bus. Thanks for the tire marks on the back of my shirt. Okay, and it's white, so they're going to show like crazy. Anyway,
100%.
so with this whole quarantine and thing happening, a lot of people are using Grubhub and Postmates and apps like that to get food delivered to them. Unfortunately for Charles Entertainment Cheese, nobody was really ordering from them. So they employed a practice where they signed up for Grubhub and Postmates and all those other apps under a different name. I believe it's Pasquale's Pizza and Wings, if I'm not mistaken.
you're right.
Yep.
You're right.
And they were trying to entice people to order from them under a different name, which I personally think while shady, it's pretty
hilarious.
genius.
It's hilarious.
I think it's a smart move.
It is.
It's a big brain play. Big brain play.
It is 200 IQ. Yes, it is big
Yeah.
brain time.
I feel like I remember when I used to go to Chuck E. Cheese, like, it would be Pasquale's Pizza was always the pizza. I'm pretty sure they were clear about that at the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, how many people go into the restaurant and pay attention, though? That's
I
the
don't
real
think-
question.
They don't.
How many people pay attention to little details like that? Not a lot. I know I didn't, but I haven't stepped inside a Chuck E. Cheese in God knows how long.
A decade?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm not thinking the same way. Maybe even more.
Was
Yeah.
it Shane Dawson who did that video last
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just take the little pizza. Yeah.
That thing was shady.
What they were doing or his video?
What they're doing. It just,
Yeah.
something doesn't seem right. And, like,
Yeah.
people were coming out talking about it, like, employees, and, like, if I'm right, I'm pretty sure a couple of those employees got fired for talking about it.
What the video? It was, to jog my memory correctly, it was they were taking pizza that was served to other customers that wasn't eaten, saving those pieces, and then adding them to already existing pizzas. So it was like a
was
zombie
yeah.
restructured Frankenstein of like old
Yeah,
pizza,
it's like a Frankenstein
Yeah.
pizza.
and
they
then
would take
serving out
yeah.
to people.
Yeah, they would take it out and they would just put more cheese on it to remelt it so it looks like it was just a weird shaped pizza. And as a kid, you're like, whatever.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, again, you weren't paying attention to those details when you went in.
Yeah, because you went in going, God, I want my pizza to be perfectly circular. Because that's what I really come to Chuck E. Cheese for. So.
Exactly.
And the thing that Shane Dawson brought up, too, was, like, none of the slices matched up at all. And, like, that was, like, the biggest giveaway to it. But they're like, no, we
So I'm
cut
reading-
it weird.
Reading
No,
an article here, it says there is a Pasquale's Pizza in West Philadelphia, and it's unclear whether the CEC Entertainment was aware of this when registering the name of its own restaurant. Pasquale's Pizza has been around since 1995, according to one Reddit user, which they're always right. And
Yeah, Reddit is always right.
Reddit is the gold mine of information.
and the Yelp page goes back to 2009, solidifying its status as the original Pasquale's.
Can
Wow.
you imagine the lawsuit that guy probably has on his hands right now?
Oh yeah.
Could you? Next, we're gonna see, and Chuck E. Cheese goes bankrupt. I was like, oh man, COVID bankrupted him. No, that random little tiny shop in Pennsylvania,
Another one bites the dust.
Philadelphia,
No.
in Philadelphia, just yoinked all of Chuck E. Cheese's money. That'd be honestly hilarious.
It'd be pretty funny, but still, no. Another one bites the dust.
What's bad is that they're masquerading as because I think a lot of people thought that they were supporting a local Philadelphia restaurant, and they're this giant conglomerate that was just posing as one. I think that's really deceiving. I mean, they could say, well, of course that's the name of our character. How did you not know? That's just the name of our pizza restaurant within our establishment. But the fact that they were also marketing it as like a local place makes it really sketchy.
Yeah.
Isn't it when you order, can't you like actually see where the physical place is?
Yeah. I just looked up Pasquale's and it popped up the Chuck E. Cheese by my house.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, not everyone's gonna like click that. Obviously,
Pay
not everyone's
attention.
gonna pay attention. I mean, that's basically the American way, as it is, literally.
That's pretty much the whole moral of this whole thing. It's just like people don't pay attention to details, and Chuck E. Cheese is exploiting that. That's pretty
Right.
much what this is.
Let's be honest. We all have the pizza place we go to either consistently, or we have a list of like places that we all go for pizza.
Oh
when
yeah.
you go to a new place, isn't like the first thing you do you figure out where it is?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for the most part,
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the fact that people are getting upset over not realizing where it's coming from.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it's quarantine, right? So people aren't necessarily saying, "I'm going to go pick up my pizza. Where is this place?" It's, "Oh, I want to support a smaller business during this time, and oh, they deliver. Let's go ahead and go with this." They're not necessarily looking up the location.
Now, do you
So
think? Do you think
They're
the
taking advantage
boxes?
of the situation.
Do you think the boxes have Chucky's face on it?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. I don't think they do though. There's that logo that Pasquale has. I think they're
There's only
just
one way to find out. One of us is gonna have to be a guinea pig.
Okay, you're closest, Vinny. Let's find out. I'm
I'm
gonna
probably
do
the
this
closest.
I'm gonna do this on my own time.
Does
God
anybody
damn it.
know
Okay.
Pasquale's full name? I have it right here.
No.
Is it
No.
Pasquale E. Pepperoni?
Pasquale P, which I don't know what the P stands for.
Pepperoni.
His last name is Pie Plate.
Philadelphia.
Pie plate.
Pasquale Pie Plate.
Pasquale pizza pie plate.
Nobody know. I don't. Let me look it up. Maybe the P stands for
Philadelphia.
something. What does the P stand for? It just says P.
I'm guessing pot pizza.
He's from Italy. Along with his friends Chuck E. Cheese, Jasper T, Jowls, Krusty the Cat, and the Warblets. He is one creepy
Jasper
looking dude
T.
too,
That
by
was
the
the
way.
purple fucker's name. I thought his name was Mike for some goddamn reason. I don't know where that came from.
He has a
But I'm like,
catchphrase.
oh yeah, we got Pasquale, Chucky, Jowls, the Duck, and fucking Mike over there. Whatever the fuck he is.
He's
I
from,
just remember he was purple and he had blonde hair. I'm like, what the hell? This place is a fucking fever dream.
he's from
Yeah, a little bit.
Milan, Italy. Do you know what his catchphrase is? It's "Hasta la pasta."
Oh,
Oh
so
God,
glorious.
Dude,
Gloriously
how
Italian,
did
isn't it?
Chuck
that
E.
may be the
Cheese
most Italian
survive
thing I've
so
ever heard in my
long?
life.
Oh, so great.
Look at this
Oh,
image of Pasquale from the past. Where is it?
He looks high.
And for people wondering, it is 3 minutes closer to the nearest Chuck E. Cheese compared to mine.
Look
Cool.
at that.
Oh, jeez, some age.
Oh God.
I'm uncomfortable. Could we get rid of that? I am physically
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
can you delete this picture, please?
Delete.
Please.
How do I? How do I delete that?
Oh, Joey
Yeah.
got it. He got it.
Thank God. How do I hide it?
I wonder if
Oh.
people are mad that it's Chuck E. Cheese pizza because they ordered it and they're like,
Oh,
"Oh,
I'd
it's
be
actually
pissed.
good."
I'd be pissed if I ordered pizza. How much? This pizza was what? $14. Okay. How much is Domino's?
Chuck E. Cheese pizza isn't terrible. It's passable. It's not great, but it's
But
not.
okay. So what's better and what's obviously I'm talking about like the major, like if I start naming off pizza places, like what's better, what's worse than Chuck E. Cheese pizza? Like is Domino's better or worse? Opinions go.
I don't
Domino's
eat
is
a lot
better.
of Domino's, but I honestly think Domino's is it edges it just a bit. Just a bit.
that picture is hilarious.
Hold on, it's not rendering for me.
Is that
Oh, it's great.
Pasquale in the live action Chuck E.
Simply,
Cheese?
simply
10 out of 10.
amazing.
10 out of 10.
Simply amazing. Can we flash these on screen, please? Especially
Yeah.
the second one.
It'll just
The
be the
second one's
backdrop
pretty
for the video.
Oh,
I
Just
love
these-
this.
this is great.
But yeah,
Oh,
I mean, maybe the pizza's good now that it's not a bunch of Frankenstein pieces.
I mean now that's actually one pizza, not multiple pizzas.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Wow.
my mom and sister go with my little cousins whenever they're down in place when they go to visit them, and they say it's not bad. They say their pizza's not that gross anymore. So I'm just going off of what they're saying.
Maybe they
That's
fixed
impressive.
it. Or
Yeah,
maybe they've acquired
Maybe
a taste for it.
possibly.
they're taste bud blind. Like was it Febreze nose blind?
Yeah, you've gone nose blind. They've
Right.
gone taste blind to the fact that Chuck E. Cheese is kind of bleh.
So during this time though, has anyone been watching any new shows or anything? Any movies? Anything you'd like to recommend to our audience?
Yeah,
Does
I-
YouTube count?
Sure, YouTube
Sure.
counts.
Ah, shit. Okay, I was honestly expecting you to say no. Now I gotta think. Fuck.
God, what have I been watching?
Grade A, under A, just uploaded a new video for the first time in over a year. So he's back. I've been watching a bunch of his old stuff. He's pretty entertaining.
Middleditch and Schwartz.
Middleditch and
Oh,
Schwartz
yeah.
is great.
Oh,
Can we
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about them, please?
That was
uh-huh.
great.
Please
Oh my
check
god,
it
they
out.
were so funny.
If you have not
So for-
watched it already, please.
It's
check
on
it
Netflix.
out.
It's on
And-
Netflix. They're improv shows, and there are three of them at the moment, or last time we checked. And wow, I like everyone in the call at the time could attest. There were laughs. There were a ton of them. There were moments where some of us could not breathe. That was probably me the most. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a
Really
good
good.
time. It was a real good time.
I recently watched Snowpiercer. Has any of you guys seen that?
Ooh,
on Netflix?
no,
Oh,
but
I've heard about. I've seen a lot of ads for that show.
This was the movie that Chris Evans made right after the first Avengers movie. He's like full bearded and everything, and
Oh.
it's by the director of Parasite. And I saw it was on Netflix, and I didn't hesitate. I just went ahead and to watch it because I've been wanting to see it for years. And it's really quick. The synopsis is a post-apocalyptic world where the only surviving humans live on this train that is circling the entirety, every continent. It's all connected with the track. It's this luxurious liner, train that's broken up into different carts, and the carts represent different classes. All the poor people are in the back, all the rich are in the front. Really good movie. Highly would recommend it. And I also saw Rocky today. Rocky was streamed, and Stallone gave commentary the entire time, which was pretty cool.
ooh, that's
Nice.
cool.
I remember seeing that on your Instagram story.
Yeah.
Did they reveal any like little secrets and stuff about the production? Because I know they've been doing that. But
It was him just kind of talking and reminiscing. He added some extra little bits that I didn't know personally, but I don't know if he let it out there before in the world because he, he's written books and has done commentaries for the film. There's little things that were associated with the story that he was saying, they wanted to do this, but then they ultimately, because the budget was so small, had to go this route, and then they rewrote this, and this was improvised and it wasn't written, and it was really cool to just kind of get the insight of a movie that nobody thought was going to be successful. And there was 6 films, 2 spin-off films, video games. It's a cultural phenomenon. So I would recommend that. And I'd also recommend there's a documentary, if you are a Rocky fan, it's called The Pretender. It's about a guy who was obsessed with Rocky his entire life. I shouldn't say obsessed, but he was a very avid fan, and he had collectibles, and he would dress like him and train like him. And it's just his life and how he put so many different things aside because that was like his one true passion, was to be Rocky. And it has a really nice message, and the guy is so lovable. It's on Amazon Prime if you have it. It's called The Pretender. And I've been fortunate enough. So I found out about the film because Sylvester Stallone mentioned it on his Instagram, and I saw it. And then I was fortunate enough to actually start a conversation with this guy who made the documentary. And he's a really nice guy. And I can't talk. I highly recommend it to people who just like those inspirational stories where it's just, a guy pursuing his passion. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
One show I started watching on Saturday. It's a show on Apple TV. It's called Defending Jacob. It has Chris Evans, the kid from It. Oh my god, it's so good. They're doing that weekly release thing, and I think it's on episode 6 right now, and there's 2 more episodes left. It's just a little mini series. I had no intention of watching it. I knew it looked good. I was like, yeah, I'll check it out one day, but my parents were watching it. I walked in, I'm like, oh, okay. So I sat down, I started watching it. I got hooked. The show is about this kid that gets basically the blame's put on him for the murder of his bully. So like you basically see the family break down and like go through mental struggles as like their son is being accused of killing this kid. And it's really good. If you have Apple TV Plus, check it out. It's insanely good. Chris Evans does an amazing job. Who else is in it? Jaden Martell, Michelle Dockery. It's so good. If you have a chance, check it out.
Matt, how about you? I think you're watching or catching up on or rewatching.
So me and Joey just started watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. My 3rd time, Joey's 1st time, so it's really exciting seeing his reaction to it. We've gotten pretty far. We started on Friday.
Yeah.
And we're already 41 episodes in.
Yeah.
So
season 4, episode 2.
Yeah, so we're rolling through that. We're probably gonna finish that hopefully this weekend. I also started watching Prop Culture and The Gallery on Disney Plus, which are great shows that show the behind the scenes of movies and the prop world for certain movies. The Nightmare Before Christmas one is really good, so I'd recommend that right now.
I gotta check out Prop Culture.
It's really good. I finished it. It's fantastic. And also kind of emotional, too.
Yeah, some of them, it's like, oh, crap. Like, the actors just saying their connection to certain pieces or designers, and it's just seeing them reconnect with these pieces is just so beautiful to see.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I gotta say, I know Matt has, like, this obsession with Full Metal Alchemist. I get it. I was like, it's pretty good. But, like, I watched it, I'm like, oh, I get it. I understand.
Good. Now. I'm telling people, it's really good.
I've been hooked in. I still don't know all the characters' names. But there's so much information. Like, after season 1, it, like, gets really heavy, and it's like, oh, shit's going down. And shit just keeps going down the farther you get along. It's just like, what's happening now? Like, season 4 we just started, and it's insane. Like, the first episode has so much information. I'm just like, what happened? What happened?
I think for me, just seeing or hearing your reactions throughout each episode is just what's making it for me this season or this time watching it, because it's so interesting seeing you think one thing and then a totally different thing happens within like the next 5 minutes or the next episode. I'm just like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I'm not into anime, but it's really good. It's a really good show.
I think that's almost about it. I'm trying to think of what I'm watching. The only thing I'm hard binging right now is How I Met Your Mother. I'm on season 8. That's about it. Other
How are you
than
liking
that,
How are you liking it?
I have mixed opinions on specific characters that we obviously don't have time for. After we do this, I can tell you all my opinions on the characters, that what should have happened in my opinion and what couldn't have happened. Other than that, the only thing that I'm like, the only show that actually has release dates for me is Harley Quinn on DC Universe, which it has Kaylee Cuoco. I missed last week. It's apparently supposed to be a really big one. But it's very weird hearing Kaylee Cuoco be Harley Quinn and swearing up a storm. It's a little weird, but honestly, you can hear the fact that the people who are voicing are having fun with the character.
That's the best part.
Yeah, for real. Other than that, that's only 2 things I'm watching. I'm trying to think of, like, what have I finished recently? I honestly don't remember what happened before How I Met Your Mother. I don't know what I finished. I know it was something on Hulu. I'm never going to remember. Other than that, oh yeah, we watched, Scoob last week? Saturday? When did we watch it? When did it come out?
We watched it
Friday?
Friday, right?
Friday. So yeah, last week.
What'd you guys think?
Do you want me
Let's just go down the row. Start with Will, all the way to Matt.
So I liked it. Little quick synopsis on how I watched it. Joey saw it and we all streamed off Joey's stream basically, and I was running it like it was 2003, 480p and hyper. I'm trying to think what the word is. I'm not gonna say foggy, but pixelated. That's the word I'm looking for. So for me, it was nice to have the subtitles on because I still knew what was happening. But then I went back and found videos of clips of part of the movie. I was like, oh, so that's what it's supposed to look like. It looked really well done. The art style was fine. There was nothing wrong with the art style. The story felt a little different to the original. It felt more modernized, but it still felt like a Scooby film, not so much kind of like a weird outcast of it, and I think I'm fine with that. The voices took a little getting used to for me, especially Fred and Daphne. Velma, I kind of felt was more on hitting on the nail, but it was really just Fred and Daphne. It took me a little bit to get used to. Other than that, I mean, I liked it. I would recommend it. I do want to know what numbers it pulled, though. That'd be cool to know right now, but we don't get those numbers. Chris, how about you?
So I came into it pretty late because I had some things going on. So I jumped into the call, I want to say the last 15 minutes of the film. So I feel like I can't give a fair assessment because there was a lot of characters that weren't from the original show or the movies or anything that I didn't really know who the heck they were. But what I liked is I thought the art style, even though it was at 24p on my end.
I wasn't the only one.
Yeah, it was a little pixelated, but it was fine. I liked the art style. I thought it was very nice. The voice actors, while they were different, I thought they were serviceable to the characters. Unlike bringing back to Kermit the Frog, somebody different who just feels like they don't get the character. These actors felt like they at least tried. So I have to give them credit, and I did like the. We all noted the end credit sequence, which added a bunch of different Hanna-Barbera characters and kind of hinted towards a universe that they're trying to build. I thought that was really neat. So
yeah, that was cool.
My 2 cents is I thought it seemed harmless and it seemed fun, but I'm looking forward to watching it in its entirety.
Joey, you?
So I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. It wasn't garbage. It was just a good movie. Art style Loved it. Visuals were great. The story was a little eh. The characters, the voices, just in general, I got used to it so quick. Like, Fred, Daphne, Velma didn't bug me. Shaggy took a little getting used to, but everyone else sounded fine to me. Like, I didn't even notice anything was wrong with it. It's basically Scooby and Shaggy are the two you gotta get right. Scooby was the same voice actor. Shaggy was, what's his name?
Will Arnett?
No.
Will Arnett, I think?
It's,
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Will Arnett.
The actor for now? The new movie?
Yeah, oh no, Will Forte, sorry.
Will Forte. Yeah, I'm like, I know it's Will. I'm like, it's not Arnett.
Yeah.
He did a good job as Shaggy. It just took a little bit getting used to, but the plot with, like, it was more of a superhero movie than a Scooby-Doo movie, but it still had that Scooby-Doo vibe to it. I like seeing them as kids, like, become Mystery Incorporated, then grow up, and you kind of see everything.
That's one thing we never got in the originals.
Yeah. I mean, you got Pup Named Scooby-Doo, but
Eh.
I feel like that's a little different.
Yeah.
My one complaint about the movie is the gang wasn't together most of the film. That's kind of my only big complaint. And then during the final, would you say fight? The final scenes, there's something that happens and they resolve it instantly. Like, they go, oh no, emotional moment, resolved. And I'm like, it's very Scooby-Doo, but I feel like they wrote themselves into a little corner and they're like, how do we fix it? And solved. Okay, end of movie. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I went through and watched the deleted scenes on Saturday, and they deleted a scene that was very vital to the movie, which kind of set up the whole plot, but they cut it for time. It's so stupid. But the movie was fine. I'd love to see what they're going to do next. I hope it does well. It was #1 all weekend on iTunes and stuff, so I'm guessing it made a lot.
The VOD numbers, it was #1 on, I'm looking at it right now, Amazon Prime, Fandango, and on iTunes.
Did they market the hell out of this?
An average of $19.99 to $24.99 per rental, but there's no numbers indicating how many was sold, how many downloads there were.
Yeah.
I wish they would give us that. Give us a rough estimate. Just let us know how it did.
Give us a ballpark. Give us, like, between 3 numbers. That'd be nice. Vinny, how about you?
As someone who didn't watch a lot of Scooby-Doo, I thought it was all right. Voices didn't really get on my nerves that much because, again, I didn't really watch a lot of Scooby-Doo when I was growing up, so it honestly made no difference to me. The story of this whole superhero dynamic, knowing my track record with superheroes, it's like, oh, I immediately turned off. But honestly, it was just fine for what it was. Personally, I don't like how they portrayed the Blue Falcon as well. I'll save some details for the actual movie, but he's kind of an idiot, and I didn't really like that much. I didn't really like the way they went with that, but he kind of rectified it at the end. The action was pretty good towards the end as well. And I like that the other Hanna-Barbera characters were in there, especially Captain Caveman, because Tracy Morgan is just Tracy Morgan. I was a little upset that he wasn't as funny as he normally should be, but it's just happens. And as for that ending that Joey just talked about, I saw that coming from a mile away. I'm like, they're gonna write themselves out of this. Oh, look, 3 minutes later. Okay, so that kind of felt a little cheap. I love the villain. I'm just gonna let that be known right now.
Yeah.
Love the villain, but my one final nitpick for my whole thing was that Fred didn't say fuck once, and I'm upset. I'm upset.
Back on this again.
I understand why he didn't say it, but I'm upset.
He said jinkies.
I don't care if he said jinkies. Fred says fuck.
In case you're wondering, just go on YouTube and just look up Fred Says F and just press enter, and you'll know what we're talking about. Other than that, Matt, how about you? Final opinions?
Oh yeah, I kind of agree with what everybody said. It was a fine movie. It was enjoyable for what it was. The voice actors, they're pretty good. I agree with Joey that Shaggy did take a little bit to get used to, but it wasn't like throwing off the film at all. Yeah, it was pretty standard. I enjoyed it. And like what Vinny said, Blue Falcon was kind of a letdown in my opinion. I didn't really like how they handled him, but otherwise, it was fine.
Other than that, anyone have any final comments, concerns?
Let me ask you guys this: would you
Parting
guys have
words?
felt differently if you paid for it in the theaters, or do you think you're being more lenient on it because we streamed it and we didn't pay anything except for Joey?
Honestly, if I would have had to go out and if I would have actually had to leave my house and go and see it, I probably wouldn't have seen it.
I feel like I would have liked it a bit more if it was in theaters.
It would have
would've
felt more movie-esque, like that feeling of going to a movie, not watching a movie. It'd be the same thing as like FX always has whatever movie came out like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's usually like the movie premiere. Let's say you didn't see that in the theaters, but you saw it on like basically at your home on the TV. It has that feeling to it compared to watching it like in theater. I feel like if it was in theaters, you probably would have enjoyed it more because you had that movie feel. But I think it was fine for what it was.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel like I would have had the same reaction nonetheless, whether it was streamed at home or in the theaters.
Anyone?
I gotta
Thank
say,
you for buying it, Joey.
huh?
Thank you for buying it.
Of course.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
We all owe you something.
It was fun watching it all together, though. I think that's my favorite thing about like, even though all this bad shit's going on, like we've been able to have like movie nights. And
Yeah.
that's my favorite thing. Just we all sit down, we pick something, and we just watch it, and it's fun. Like watching Scooby Doo, something none of us had seen, and it was brand new, and just watching it. I thought that was great, and it was worth it. But yeah.
Anyone else? Final thoughts, comments, concerns?
Oh,
Other than the fact that we all don't like the Muppets.
when I was watching Scoob again on Saturday, though, there are so many Easter eggs during the film in the background. Just so many. Like there's Top Cat graffiti behind the bowling alley when they're running away from the little robot guys. There's so many like little things just everywhere. It's insane how much detail they put into this. But that's all. just cool little things like that.
Anyone? Before I start plugging all of the social medias.
Plug away.
Plug away. So I do all my social media is of myself, not of anything that I would happily have the people of the internet know. So, Team 8-Bit on Instagram, all lowercase. Team 8_BIT on YouTube. Team 8-Bit. It's spaced out. They get the space. They're cool like that. Capital T, capital B. That's about it.
I am Chris from ChrisCrossMedia, CHRIS Cross Media, and you can find a lot of my work also on Cinemassacre. And I'm going to give a shout out to my boy, soon to be ex-fat boy, Alex, who couldn't be here. And also, Vinny, what did Fred say?
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm Joey. You can find me on all platforms at BlueJ Gaming, BLUE, the letter J Gaming. Go check out my YouTube channel for some archived videos, and go check out my Instagram for art and stuff.
All right, guess it's my turn. Hey, listener, do you have a pen and paper? Well, you're gonna need it because I have a lot of different names, and I'm gonna guarantee you're gonna forget at least one of them. So I suggest you write them all down so you don't forget. On Twitch, I am True Random Dumbass, all one word, all lowercase. I'm off school now, so I should be streaming a lot more, which is awesome. On YouTube, I am SRD, just the 3 letters. Good luck finding me. Honestly, just go to the Team 8-Bit YouTube channel and just click my icon over on the right side. It'll just be a lot easier to find that way. And on Twitter and Instagram, I am at SRD on YT, where I just post random stuff on Twitter, at least. Instagram is still kind of dead, but I'm just trying to get used to that.
And for me, you can find me on Twitter at 4DG_Matt, or God, oh wow, that's wrong. 4DG_TB. And on YouTube, you can find me at MixMatt. All things Full Metal Alchemist will be posted there.
So I guess I'll get the final word. Stay safe, wash your hands, respect each other, and stay fucking sexy, guys.
Hashtag let Fred say fuck.
Stay fun.